Today we will go on a tour of the University of Notre Dame, a campus steeped in history and traditions. We will show you the inside and outside of these iconic buildings, learn about their traditions, and hear from the band of the Fighting Irish.
Hey, welcome back to LoveNesters. We are at the University of Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana.
We're excited to give you a tour of the campus today. It's that time of year when kids are going back to school. Perhaps you too are going to be an empty nester. We hope you'll join us for some LoveNester adventures.
We get a tour?
We do. Best tour guide ever.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Welcome to LoveNesters.
We are a Wisconsin couple trying to keep life interesting now that our kids have left the nest. Join us on adventures big and small as we look for the quirky and unique while having some fun along the way.
Thanks for being here.
Our tour begins at the home of the Fighting Irish, Notre Dame Stadium. Notre Dame football and their marching band are known worldwide. When they wanted to expand the seating capacity of this storied stadium, they were told it was not structurally possible to add luxury seating to the current stadium. So they built 3 new campus buildings around the stadium and hung seating off the back. These new buildings are the heart of the campus and house a student center, workout facility, reception spaces, restaurants, and more. If you had the opportunity to visit the campus on game day and score tickets, you won't be disappointed.
Hey, if you can't get tickets, there are still plenty of ways to enjoy the tradition of Notre Dame football.
Hey, Lou Holtz was a coach for many teams, including the Minnesota Gophers, the New York Jets, and finally he won a championship with Notre Dame.
Hey, this statue is of Dan Devine. He was once a coach for the Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, he didn't do so well, but at the University of Notre Dame, he won a national championship in 1977. Way to go, Dan.
Hesburgh Library was named after Father Hesburgh, one of the presidents of Notre Dame. He was the president that decided to let women come to the university. He also has 2 world records. He has the world record for having the most number of honorary degrees of anyone in the world, and he has 150 from universities all over the world. He also has the world record for serving on the president's cabinet for the longest amount of time. He was very influential in the Civil Rights Act.
Fun fact, his brother Hank Hesburgh started a brewery in Beloit, Wisconsin.
Is that true?
No. Okay.
This mural, known as Touchdown Jesus, is actually called the Word of Life. It is 134 feet high and was made from 115 different colors of granite from all over the world.
This is the reflecting pool. They dye it dark blue so it looks deeper, of course, so if you see any blue ducks around campus, they have been swimming in the reflecting pool. It is also a tradition on game days for one of the men's dorms to come up in the front of the reflecting pool in small flotation devices to chant and run through the reflecting pool as the marching band goes by on game day.
Awesome! Father Hesburgh's office on the top floor of the library can be toured on special occasions.
Students line up at the Hesburgh Library before graduation. Hey, welcome back to LoveNesters. We are at the University of Notre Dame.
Believe it or not, TripAdvisor says the University of Notre Dame is the #1 attraction in this town.
And I can see why. It is an absolute beautiful campus.
This building, which we've always called Stonehenge, is actually a war memorial that was erected to honor the men of Notre Dame that served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. The Golden Dome that sits atop the administrative offices is one of the most iconic buildings. At the top of the dome is a 16-foot-high, 2-ton statue of Mary, Our Lady of Notre Dame. Every 10 years, the dome is re-gilded. The gold is melted down and used on the football helmets and in the ink on the diplomas. So really, you do bring home a piece of the dome when you graduate. But these are the steps you want to sit on if you happen to be here the day before the game. At midnight, this is the best view to watch the drummers circle. If you are ever here on game day, this is where Trumpets Under the Dome is held. This crown was purchased for the university in 1866. I believe it was commissioned and came from France. Unfortunately, at one point, it was stolen by thieves. Thankfully, the police were able to recover it, but you can see there is some damage to the piece as a result of that incident.
The day before the game, the band marches out from the main building, and you can actually see them perform their halftime show.
I think another reason why this campus is such a popular place for people to visit is it really is like being in a park. It is so well maintained, absolutely beautiful.
Hey, one of the great things to do is to actually go to stop by a university near your town. The campuses are just beautiful. There's a lot of energy. It's great to see the kids walking around campus.
It's a vibrant community, and if you too are an empty nester and have a student in college, they appreciate it if you can entertain yourselves. At least that's what we've been told. So there's lots to check out on a college campus, and particularly at the University of Notre Dame.
How to entertain yourselves.
This is the Notre Dame Law School. It was originally supposed to be one building. You'll see there's a building on the left and the right with the arch. But when they were building it, there were protests because this is the path of the marching band. And there's actually a law that you cannot put a building in the path of the marching band. They were forced to create this arch so that the band can march through on this path to the game on game days.
What?
Wow, that's the power of the marching band.
There are two dining halls on campus, South Dining Hall and North Dining Hall. You're looking at South Dining Hall, the older of the two dining halls. Inside has lots of wood tables and chairs and high ceilings that make people think of Hogwarts.
If you'd like to see the marching band's pre-game traditions, stop by the South Dining Hall on game day.
This is South Quad, the longest quad on campus. It is also the site of the annual snowball fight. Midnight of the first real snowfall, everyone lines up on either side. You've got the north side dorms versus the south side dorms, and at midnight everyone runs out. It's madness, and by the end of the night there's no snow left on the ground.
This is the campus ministry building. It has some great study spaces for students.
We call this statue the Holy Handoff. This is Bond Hall, and this whole quad will be filled with spectators and fans on game day as the Notre Dame Marching Band takes the steps. The band plays through their whole pregame show, halftime show on the steps, and then afterwards there's a drum circle with dancing and different cadences, and sometimes we have the band Chicago even come and play with us. This is St. Mary's Lake, one of two lakes on campus. The other one is St. Joseph's. When the university was first founded and they came to this place, it was in the middle of winter and they thought it was all one lake, so they named it Notre Dame du Lac, Lady of the Lake. They did not realize there were 2 lakes until summertime. It was actually a blessing that it was 2 lakes, because if it was all 1 lake, then the size of the water body would require Notre Dame to make it public. But since they're small enough, they remain private lakes.
One of the interesting things about this basilica is it houses the largest collection of 17th century French stained glass in North America. Fun fact, in the center part of the church, there are an equal number of female and male saints.
Every week at Notre Dame, there are more than 40 Sunday Masses and 160 daily Masses are celebrated. And there are more than 90 priests on campus as well, serving as hall rectors, professors, and administrators.
So if you're here visiting Notre Dame, the Eck Visitor Center is where you would want to go to pick up a tour. If you have time, you want to stop by the auditorium in the Visitor Center, where you can watch a brief film explaining the history of Notre Dame before taking your tour. The Visitor Center is a little bit of a museum, kind of showcasing the history of this place. So right across the courtyard from the Visitor Center is the bookstore. All of your Notre Dame gear can be purchased here.
The building at the end of this quad is called DPAC, DeBartolo Performing Arts Center. It holds many incredible traveling groups from around the world come. They have the Glee Club for Notre Dame, orchestra concerts there. It's a really beautiful space for the performing arts.
This is the home of the School of Architecture, and as you would expect, there are some neat elements here. One of the new buildings on campus that they built to house the stadium seating was the Duncan Student Center. This houses a beautiful workout facility for students, has some dining options, and is the home of some great gelato. Look at this happy doorman. One of the many neat things they did when they built the new stadium, they kept the old bleachers, and you see those incorporated throughout the Student Center. This is the Joyce Center. This is the home of where they have their basketball games, new student orientation, and sometimes graduation. Well, I found Becky. This is the symbol of Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, one of the more recognizable symbols in college athletics.
This statue is called Christ the Teacher. It's a depiction of Jesus speaking with children. And this beautiful archway with all of the seats are used occasionally for outdoor classes. This is the North Dining Hall, which is more modern style. It was more recently renovated. It is the second dining hall on campus, and the superior one if you ask someone who lived on North.
If you ask the local.
Hey, welcome back to LoveNesters. We are at the University of Notre Dame talking with a couple students. What's your favorite part of being a Fighting Irish?
Definitely the relationships. With
The
all
relationships.
The students.
Because
Yes, all of the beautiful parts of the campus, crazy events that go on, traditions. It's a good time.
Campus is beautiful. I love having a chapel just downstairs as well in our dorm. It's a lovely company.
oh my goodness. And can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is this an accredited school, University of Notre Dame?
Yes.
Did it recently become accredited?
No, it was accredited in the 1800s.
Oh,
The Snite Museum of Art has been here for over 40 years, and they are now getting a new building. The new building will open in November of 2023. The art gallery is just such a peaceful place, and they have some amazing exhibits here. So she kind of looks familiar. Turns out she was painted in the same time period as the Mona Lisa. This piece is called The Spool. That's kind of cool.
This is Father Corby. He's the chaplain for the Union Army. He was one of 5 Holy Cross priests to serve the Union Army. This is before one of their battles. They're praying with him and asking for forgiveness of their sins. Father Corby went on to be the president of Notre Dame.
Hey, welcome back to LoveNesters. We are at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana.
We've been checking out some of the history today, learning some of the traditions of this great institution. Thanks for coming along.
What a great place to visit.
Highly recommended anytime you're in South Bend, and if you're not, look at the local campus near you.
And it's free.
Free.
Did you say it's free?
I did not.
Oh, it's
Good
free.
tip, it's free. Right here in South Bend, Wisconsin, according to TripAdvisor.
South Bend, Indiana.
Oh gosh!
Hey, welcome back to LoveNesters. It's great to have you here. We are at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana.
Easy for you to say. Okay, so we are here for a baton twirling competition, and if someone would let us borrow a baton, Jeff wants to get out there.